okay, so, all right, so getting back to risk specifically. Okay, I got a question for you.
What you got?
Have you ever had to take a risk? Well, actually, no. Let's talk about the fact that you joined the Marines, and like, did you get into the Marines with the mentality that you may get deployed at all, or were you specifically going into reservists because you knew you wouldn't?
Oh no, I only went to the reserves because I had a little brother back here, and then because shit at home was not exactly well balanced, so I had to come back to make sure I balanced that out, make sure he got to grow up and have a childhood, and he did. He got older, graduated high school, worked his life, never had any real encounters with law enforcement like that. He's just slowly building himself up, and he's doing good. So I don't regret going to reserves for that reason. But the only reason, another thing is, like, did I miss out on having fun in active duty? You goddamn right I did. Shit.
So the idea of getting deployed, like, that wasn't like a risk for you. You were just like, let's do this. Let's shoot some people in the face.
Shit, I had my get to the chopper speech ready.
Get to the chopper, no!
I got in. It was just, it felt like the right fit. It felt like I was not gonna get acquitted if they put that glove on my damn hand, and I enjoyed every time I had it there. It was like, even with the reserves, when we get called up for drill and everything like that, we get there, people's like, man, I hate this shit. And I get there, I'm just like, man, I'm kind of happy. And as we get to the flow of things, because everything is like balls to the walls immediately, because we have no time to fuck around. So it's balls to the walls, getting the flow of things, getting the motion. And for me, it was peace. It was where I found my peace at, just being in that environment with my Marines, my unit, getting shit done. So the risk of it all wasn't. The highest risk I would have taken is if I would have went active and out of risk. I'm like, what would happen to my brother if I went active and then I get deployed, I'm having a good time over there, and I wasn't as prevalent there as I was when I was in the reserves. So at that one point, I was not willing to risk that. So I took the safer route to make sure to go to reserves and I could be there for my little brother.
Okay. All right, cool. And like, so you pretty much explained that. Okay, and then so for you, do you want to go into the risk of when you had the whole sit down with the family discussion on how you were basically just gonna leave everything, go to New York and stuff like that to pursue your dreams?
Yeah. So this was probably 3 or 4 years ago now, and it's kind of how I always make decisions. And fortunately, I would say, because of the parents that we have, it was never really from a place of like asking for advice. It was a place of like, hey, this is what I want to do and this is how I'm going to do it. Do you guys support it? So what I really did is like, I made a spreadsheet out. I was like, hey, this is what it's going to cost. This is what I need from you guys. I prayed about it. I want to go to New York. That's where my dreams are at. And I think I'm talented enough. So I'd say when it comes to risk, it was like, okay, I'm in Colorado. I get really good roles out here. I think I'm pretty talented. And then New York would be a completely different ballgame, like you would think. It's like, okay, now you're a big fish in a really, really big ocean out in New York, but in Colorado, it's like you could be a big fish in a small pond. So I was like, okay, I really need to know. And that's kind of what I was really prefacing it against, is like, okay, how talented am I? Can I go to New York and can I succeed? Right. Things like that. So I sat down with the family and I was like, hey, New York's expensive as fuck. You guys trying to pay my car bill for a couple months until I start landing gigs. And I think the riskiest part is the family saying, fuck no, you're on your own.
No, I helped you out.
What? Yeah?
I was like the only one who did. I was just like, I supported.
Hey, true.
Look, I was the only one.
True.
Like, don't throw me under the bus like that, bro. Bruh. Like, nigga.
Anyway, the rest of these niggas were like, hey, good luck. And I was like, all right, bet. And like, literally the first day I was out there, landed a musical. Second day I was out there, landed some films, and literally didn't hear a single no when I was out there. So in hindsight, I was like, there's no risk. I'm talented as fuck, boy.
Yes!
But now that I think about it, I don't really actually remember being afraid. I really don't. Especially with something that's like, I wake up, I was like, this is what I do. Like, I sing, I dance, I act, I do musical theater. Like, this is what I do, this is who I am. So I don't know if that would be the best example of risk, because I came in very fearless, and like, I woke up one day, and then 7 days later, I was in New York.
Right. Okay, then let's shift the goalpost then. What is the riskiest decision in regards to what you do? In regards to your career and your talent and your paths, what's the riskiest thing you've ever tried? Something where like you were unsure, where it's like this is a gamble, and it was gonna cost you something if it failed.
Well, New York costed me tens of thousands.
Yeah.
So
and when you came back, you were a changed person.
I was changed. I was changed for sure.
Wait,
And you
also-
could tell he went through something, bro.
What was the difference?
Well, actually, the number one thing I was talking to Shannon about is what I realized is that nobody's special. That's what I actually realized in New York, because there was one specific night. I think it was Thanksgiving. We were all sitting. Me and my New York friends, were sitting around this table, and we were all talking about like dreams, goals, aspirations, and then they were talking about their ideas, and they were talking about their next steps and what they're planning on doing moving forward in life. And I had deja vu. I was like, I had this exact same conversations with my niggas out in Colorado. Mm-hmm. I was like, these New York people are not different.
Right.
Like, we romanticize Miami and New York and California, like, oh, these are where the talented people stay. Mm-hmm. I'm like, no, they're not. They're all regular people, and it's just luck. Mm. So I'd say that's the number one thing I took from New York, was like, I'm right there. I'm not any better, any less than anybody over there. But I'd say the struggle part I kind of heard, like that I kind of figured out over there, was like, it's like when you're in a place where you really have no support system, no help, that's where I grew the most, was understanding that, like, okay, I am over here by myself. I do have to make really solid decisions. I can't afford to make a bad decision. And then even just my safety in mind, like I think it was like 2 months when I was out there when I wouldn't leave my place past 9, because I was like, oh, New York's dangerous.
Right.
And then I also learned that that's not actually as true as people think.
And it depends on the neighborhood, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I learned a lot.
And then, so with that same questioning, I'm going to move it to you, and then I'll answer the same thing.
All right.
Was there anything in your life, like whether it be career-wise or like life-changing, where it's like you basically gambled on it, understanding that you could lose something very major in your life if it didn't go through the way you wanted it to?
Well, shit, damn. Should have been thinking about that, but I was more interested in Ray's story. I was like, that is an interesting story.
I'm trying to
I know what you mean. I'm trying to figure it out. I was like, all right, a risk would be, I would say probably for me, if so the risk for me would be, it wasn't even risk. I don't know how to I think a risk, but then it's like, I also have like, when I'm leaning towards something, it's like an intuitive feeling. It's just like, it's just something like, I can go about this. Of course, right. It could end up badly or something like that, but I think maybe a risk was when I went to an open mic, and I did open mic. Like, I wasn't going to do it, and then it was like, hey, you want to go? I was like, fine, fuck it. So I got on stage, and I started telling my damn joke, and I wasn't getting any laughs or anything like that, but I like that feeling being on stage, except for the fact is, so how we got these lights here, that shit magnified by 10, and a couple of more lights, and that shit just blinding you in the fucking face. I can't see shit in the crowd. It is dark as fuck. I'm blinded, and I'm telling a joke about going to a fucking Nigerian wedding and how if any of my friends are Buddhists, I'm dying before them.
Right.
And that shit.
Did it go over or no?
Hell no, because then I realized, I was like, I'm telling this joke in front of a bunch of open micers, people who are also trying out material, and they're not there.
You can't do material for comedians, bro.
Yeah, they're not there.
They said that. Did you watch Dave Chappelle's special? He said that that's like the best thing you're supposed to do is class.
Well, you'll get a more honest response, but like it's when he just started open micing and he's in front of a bunch of other open micers, like they're not gonna give him the laughs that he needs. Like they're hating on this like because I listened to Patrice O'Neal and there's a show called Opie and Anthony, like it was a super famous radio show out in New York, and they would have something called there's car crash comedy, meaning that you can only get 3 car crashes, meaning a joke doesn't go over before you have to sit down. And they were in a room full of other comedians, and almost no jokes went over. We're talking about like there was one guy who was able to make everybody laugh out of all the open micers, and it's because he'd already been like he was a professional. You know what I mean? And he just happened to be there for extra publicity. But all the other ones, it literally was silent. You know what I mean? And then they even explained, they're just like, we understand that like this isn't like what you do in front of crowds, because crowds will actually work with you because they want to have a good time.
Yeah.
But if you have a bunch of other comedians, they're not going to give you the shine because they don't want to admit that you may be better even if you are. You know what I mean? Like it's literally cutthroat, because like a lot of comedians are comedians by necessity. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even just a dream. It's like, this is what I'm reduced to. I have nothing left. You know what I mean? like it's just comedy now. So I feel for you. Like, that must have been horrific. I actually have a story just like that, and that ties into the wrist thing once you're done. But like, go ahead, finish.
It was like, okay, like you were saying, like there was no feedback, and I realized I'm telling this shit in front of other people who think they're hilarious, who think they're funny. And then I'm listening to them, and like the other guy's trying to come up, and then I'm listening to a motherfucker. I'm like, alright, I don't find that funny. I don't find that funny. And then I got this two motherfuckers over here talking shit about every other comedian, laughing at their joke, making inside jokes. And then like one of them, like they finally get up on stage. One of them is, and this is hot ass fucking like caramel chick with the fucking hugest fucking tits.
Dude.
Like God, like she was
cheat code. She don't need to be funny.
Yo, she was, her joke though. Goddamn sociopath. But yo, she was fine, and I knew immediately to stay the fuck away from her ass. God damn, she was fine. And like, nah, she was fine. She ever hears this shit, she was fine. And I gotta ain't about to have no fucking tell you the story about having a crazy ass girlfriend. I know where that fucking road leads. I'm out this bitch. I know the risk down that road, and I knew damn sure I wasn't gonna. That's not worth the goddamn reward.
Nah, I totally got you, man.